Good evening, everyone. So today we will be doing a 30 minutes budget committee stimulation based on rules and tasks provided in our scenario. So my group members are Craig Goff, Karelle Jones, and Miss Kellyanne Williams-Haridon, and myself, Daina-Lee Edwards. Let's get right into it.
All right, team, welcome to the 2025 budget debates for FinEdge Technologies. I am your host, Craig Goff. I am also the finance manager and the committee chair. So, as we discussed, the company's financial goals for this year, enforce financial discipline. Now, looking at our last year budget, we had a total for actuals for all departments at 1.75 million for 2024. That's USD, and our aim for 5% for all company-wide is 1.6625 million. That is USD for this year. That is keeping in line with the company's 2025 reduction budget. Right, this table alludes to our previous year and what we expect for this year with marketing operations, HR, finance, and our total outlook. Right, so now looking at the finance department, that is my department. As you can see, our 2024, we did in fact underspend greatly with key areas for licensing fees, coverages of salaries, annual audits, as well as upskilling for internal audits and financial security. We did, however, go over with financial regulation and anti-compliance, anti-money laundering. Those fees went a little higher than originally anticipated. But despite cost cuts, critical areas like compliance and salaries retain priority funding as they are key in ensuring our profitability and legality. Right, looking at our proposed budget for 2025, the overall proposed reduction for this is 5% from the original budget, and for 2025, and our target for against actuals is 2.17% of our actuals for 2024. So you will see in key areas where training and development, we are projecting an increase of 18.75%. That is for reinvestment in staff upskilling following prior underspend. So we underspent in the previous year, so now we need to overspend this year in order to ensure that we are compliant. Adjustments for one junior position left a role unfilled, so we did have a reduction in we will have a reduction in salary as we are currently undertaking a company-wide hiring freeze. Any questions for my budget so far, team?
It seems to be in a good look, so let us see how best we can work it out. But I realize that there is an inflation adjustment in the increase in the audit fee.
Yes, so that adjustment is critical as based on the auditors, all our local auditors, and the rate of inflation in Jamaica that has gone up over the last year, we have to budget for this in terms of their rate of fees. So local auditors, all our external auditors, we have to adjust our budget to solicit their services. And for us to remain compliant, we have to have the auditors, so we have to ensure that we adjust our fees to meet them. Any other questions?
You plan on looking in on any internal auditor to kind of alleviate that expense?
Well, as you are aware, we do have our internal auditor, our internal audit department, which reports directly to the executive board. But as a publicly traded company, we must also have independent auditors auditing our books to ensure that we are governmental compliant as under the Companies Act of Jamaica. So we do have to have that area for legal regulatory compliance. All right. Any other questions? I think my budget would be sound. I think we can iron out to say that this is the fit of budget that is fit for the finance department and jump right into our marketing team. All right. As mentioned, our marketing manager will now take the floor.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for having me. So I am here to do my proposal in which I'm seeking increase in the area of live performance. With that being said, looking at the budget for last year, we realized that if you look at the budget carefully on the spending for last year, even though we had overspended more on our live performance, live promotional events, it was still able to return an increase of 1.7 more than what I actually intended on actually getting back on that, even though I overspent it on even though there was an overspending in that area. So for 2024, high return on investment was increased in live promotional events and digital ads. We also, as strong engagement validates digital targeting efficiency. We 25% return on it, streamline work, reduce campaign turnaround time. So for in 2024, it was a good year for our departments. It was a really good year for our department in which we delivered highly in live performance and in live promotional event, and it was also able to generate a revenue for FinEdge, in which it was the our department was highly praised by management and also our financial department, in which we got engagement from other companies, like Canada and Trinidad. And Trinidad also impacted significantly in that department. So what we are projecting for in 2025 is that we adhering to the company's policy of the 5% reduction. So we will have a reduction in our digital advertising, in which we will move from 115,000 to 96,000. And this will be favorable for the company because we would actually save 16.5%, which is a strategic shift in owning the media and more precise targeting. So in 2024, we spent $220,000 in live performance. So this year we are vying for a 10% increase in that area, which will move it from $220,000 to $242,000. And with that, with this being said, I expected to see that the increase reflects a strategic investment in the top performing initiative. In 2024, as I said, with the 1.7% more that we generated from that, it clearly links to the international user base. So with this budget cost, it is intended to deepen market penetration in Canada and other areas in the Caribbean also. We are looking on software. The software that we have was newly installed. So we don't need to spend any more money for that because that still have a shelf life. So we will reduce the $42,000 to $32,000, which would also have the companies, it will cut costs while still keeping in line with the 5% decrease in that area that was projected by the memo that was sent out to every team. So this would leave a 23.8%. And with all of that now, through tools consolidation, tighter subscription oversight, renegotiation of vendors agreement, we can achieve a significant saving without even loss of functionality. Campaigning, we cut costs in campaigning. So even though we need persons to campaign, we have a strong staff from 2024, so we don't need any additional persons, and they are doing a good job. So we can cut that expense in that area from $58,000 to $43,225, which will also save the company 25.4%. So the various marketing automation tools, they will become more effective. More reliant on contract-based campaign execution is also even declining. So we don't even need to pay that much attention. So the proposed reduction will reflect an increase internal efficiency and workflow automation. So in all now, our budget will be, we will move from $435,000 in which we actually spent last year to 413,250,000, which is in line with the 5% decrease. So the total proposed budget delivers the mandate cost saving while enforcing investment in core growth areas. So,
Sorry to cut you, Miss Jo.
go ahead.
Just a question. But I noticed you put the 10% on the live promotional event, and you cut the contact staff. Wouldn't it be good to encourage the staff more and put more on the contract staff and lessen the live promotional events?
All right, good question. But the contract staff, as I said before, that even though we spent $58,000 on contracted staff in 2024. If you go back and look on the chart, so even though we spent that on them in 2024, it was a partnership of migrating staff. So it also enabled the international marketing entry with short-term resources. So we didn't need that much resource. We didn't need to add any more persons in that department because we were actually, I think we actually for 2024 we didn't get a favorable increase from them in 2024. But in 2025 now, based on the live performance was the area in which it generated the most money for the company at that time. It was a leading performer in that area at the time. And even though we had overspent, we were able to generate 1.7 times more than any other area within the marketing department. So we are thinking that in order to keep the marketing department afloat and also keeping even our employees and our investors in line, we pay special attention to the live promotional events because, as I said before, layman's term, we can't lose in that area.
I understand.
Any other question?
Well, my question is, and it's more of a proposal, really. I think we should definitely look towards our contract staff, to moving them from direct contract to us to third parties who can provide this service. Have you given any thought to that to help to reduce your wage bill even further?
Well, as you said that, I am thinking or I'm planning on having a meeting with Miss Edwards in the HR department to bring across this suggestion because these staff are dedicated and committed. So we want to move them from being contract staff to permanent staff. But even we have a reduction right now in which the company is actually saying that they need to save some money instead of adding anything additional to it. So based on the meeting with the HR department manager and I, from there we can know exactly where the way forward from there.
Okay, aligned.
Okay. I agree. That's something that we can look into.
Thank you. So as you can see on the chart, as you can see on the slide, on the projection, there you see that we are expected to have a good year in 2025 based on the proposal that I actually sent to the finance department for them to look through, scrutinize, and then we can cut back on what they said that needs to be cut back on if there's any need for that. So
All right.
the marketing. Any question? What you say, Mr. Goff?
No, you can go ahead. Go ahead.
Right. The marketing department performance in 2024 was quantifiable, effective, and strategic, aligned strategically aligned with FinEdge Technologies' objective. The data demonstrated a strong return on investment, improved process efficiency, and effective territory expansion. And if you look on the performance data report, you can see that. So even the 1.7% that we had from the live performance, high return activity justified reinvestment for scaling outreach, 15% for digital ads, validated targeting strategies and support reduced in 2025 ad spending. And from there on now, when you going forward step by step, you look through the report now and the data findings, you will see that it is strategically in line with the mandate of the company. So as I said before, the proposal was done in alignment with the company goal. They reduce operational costs by 5%, preserve and strengthen strategic investment and our technology, and ensure resource allocation and performance trade. So this budget was carefully thought about while keeping the company in mind. Final overview: the 2025 proposal, we are projected to have 413,250 to be proposal with our key driver in live events. I hand you over to Miss Daina-Lee Edwards in the HR department.
So good evening again, everyone. So as the Human Resource Manager, I am here to present the HR department's proposed budget for 2025. So our goal is to support FinEdge Technologies' strategic priorities, cost efficiency, employee development, and operational alignment, while adhering to the Executive Board's directive to reduce company-wide operational costs by 5%. So let's get right into it. So in 2024, the HR department operated within our means. We underspend by 8,000, primarily from saving in recruitment and training. However, we do have a 5,000 overage in the employee engagement due to increased staff participation in wellness initiatives. This also helps to boost our retention by 6%. So while we maintain the budget discipline, we also delivered measurable outcomes. And for our 2025 budget proposal, we are proposing 302,500, 3.82% reduction from 2024 actual. So we apply strategic trimming across most categories while investing in staff training and leadership development, which we believe is essential to maintain our innovation culture. So for salaries, we have a 3.3% change. So we implemented a temporary hiring freeze on one HR role, achieving cost saving while maintaining team productivity. For the recruitment and onboarding, we had a 5.45% change. So hiring demand is forecasted to decrease slightly due to lower attrition and more internal mobility, allowing us to reduce this line. So for the employee engagement, we have a change by 14.3%, a negative 14.3%. So we will be consolidating the in-person events, expand on lower cost digital engagement initiative like virtual wellness challenges and recognition platforms. For the training and development, we also have a 10% change. So this For this, we're focusing on leadership development, upskilling for mid-level managers and succession plannings, which we think is critical to expand our international market. So for the HR software and system, we have a negative 4.35%. So we have negotiated renewal discounts for our HRIS and performance manageable tools, reducing recurring costs without sacrificing functionality. For our legal and compliance, no. We had a negative 1.89% change. So by reducing dependency on external consultants and shifting to a more in-house policy, we have lowered this line modestly.
Dana, is there any area you think we can achieve some additional savings to make up this gap?
All right, so yes, I think that we can cut back on. You're asking if there's any area that we can cut back to achieve some savings?
Yes, that's correct.
Yes. We've reduced this employee engagement. I think we can cut back there, where we can have like some digital platforms while still maintaining meaningful engagement. And I strongly believe that this will help us to not overspend.
Okay.
Question, being that you're in a temporary hiring freeze, why not also reduce recruitment and onboarding?
You said to, can you repeat the question?
Since the company is in a temporary hiring freeze, even though you say on one vacant HR role, but one could say if you're in a temporary hiring freeze, why not also why not make a reduction more in the recruitment and onboarding? It could cut costs there.
Right. That's what we're looking into. But
If I may, sorry, from a budget standpoint, I think where that is concerned, we should keep that on the books, the budget for that, because we don't know how staff turnaround will be, if we might lose staff due to brain drain. So let's keep that on the books, and once we deliver on, if we are able to deliver the savings in that category, then the actuals will show. So the budgeted amount should stand, keeping in mind that we may need to recruit and onboard to fill key roles if we lose personnel, whether that be permanently or temporarily.
okay.
So, Mr. Goff,
Okay.
wouldn't HR software and system, wouldn't that be reduced just a little bit more?
Remember, these systems are in place for ease of access and for legal compliance. So once we have the members on, we have to pay the subscription once we have the employees. So if it is a case that we do lose employees, then that number will go down. But if it's a case that we need to hire a key additional employees, then that number will go up based on subscription. So we're budgeting based on what we have in place, based on the reduction for the fact that we have one position frozen, but we still need to keep in mind that we still have employees who are subscribed to the services.
Fair enough.
So I'll now hand over to Mrs. Williams, to our operational department manager.
Thank you so much, Ms. Daina-Lee. Okay, as you can see, let us look back on the 2024 budget. Where production was concerned, we had a few upbringings, especially in the financial management areas and the logistics. But because we're trying to cut down now, we try to fix these issues so that we don't have them as high as before, because the 24 budget was 625,000, but we actually spent 619, which was good. But in some areas we had increases. So for the 2025, my proposal my team and I, we were going through the stuff, and we decided where production and manufacturing, we would, from the $310,000 that we had bring across last year, we take down a 5% increase and bring it to 294,500, which will be a slight scale back of the raw materials that we'll be purchasing. And with our logistics and transportation, we would try and bring it down. Our proposed budget would be 95,500, which is a 4.8%, which is a routine optimization and lower fuel forecast. Because we can't really go too down, because sometimes the fuel in the market, it's high rise. So we have to be very careful on that. With our facility management area, we would like to bring that down from 72,000 to 66,500. And these are energy saving measures and contract with renovation. My apologies for my pronunciation. Renegotiations. With our equipment and repair, we spent 48,000 last year, but for the 2025 we propose 46,000. This is a preservative and maintaining plan to cut emergency repair costs, because last year we did a lot of repairs, so we would try to scale down on that. The inventory management, we can scale down around 4.35% to 44,000. This improves forecasting and reduce the holding of costs. But for our health and safety, because of the slight increase to maintain this standard, we would have just a small amount. So we'd move from the 41,000 from last year to 41,250. So just a slight increase of 0.61%, because safety is important. So my actual budget from last year would move from 619,500 to 589,750, which is a 4.8%. So the operational efficiency identifies while preserving safety. So overall, our operation is projected to reduce by the cost of $29,750. So this will be primary through efficiency and logistic optimizations. Any question regarding that?
Yeah. As it relates to the reason behind production and manufacturing, the scaling back of purchasing raw material, wouldn't it be more cost effective if we purchased in bulk? Wouldn't that possibly help us to get better savings?
Yes, you're right. And we have been going through and we have been doing some research. We're checking different prospects. So we're trying to cut down as best as we can as we go by. Okay. Any other question?
As it relates to facilities management, if you're looking towards energy saving measures, why not ask for an increase in that area? So in order, it could also help you to lessen the budget for logistic and transportation as it relates to lowering fuel costs.
All right. I was looking into that, but as you know, where logistics and transportation is concerned, you have to be careful on how low you go on that area, because we have to do shipping and delivery service. So we have to maintain those. And at times the wharves, because the government system where there would be some changes within the fuel cost. So we have to be careful. And with all of the fiction that is going on over there, we have to be careful how low we go on fuel, on logistics and transportation. But with the facility management now, these are like the utility rent and the cleaning securities. So when we fixed on those, we can we just have to be careful and use what we have within the organization. Let persons be aware on the importance of managing these equipments that we have to do cleaning and make sure that all lights are turned off. We have to maintain these things to prevent a high rise in bills.
Okay,
Okay.
understood.
Okay, no problem. And if you look back on our diagram that we have there, you will see that the different changes where our production and manufacturing is logistics, facility management. As you can see that it grows as the year for our new, wherever the changes. So the green would be the 2025 proposal, and the orange would be from last year actuals.
Okay.
I will now hand over to
All right,
our
team.
finance.
Sorry.
Mhm.
So team, I have been taking notes of our requests as well as the changes negotiated and key areas. So we have taken notice that our overall reduction based on the proposals from the team will be 5.86%, which is well over the company-wide mandate for 5% with the room for additional growth and additional changes. We're seeing where the marketing team has a reduction that is in place for 5%. Operations is there for 5.64% over actuals, and HR by 8.3%, and finance just keying the ball at 5%. So the company-wide target is based on this achieved, and I do believe based on this team, we are ready to send the memo to the executive management team for their approval. So I will just show you a sample of the memo that we have just crafted. Sorry, this would be the table. However, here is a sample of our memo to the executive management team. And until we come back for our new budget presentation. Thank you, guys.